Welcome to Introduction to Rhetoric, Lesson 1.0. For today's lesson, we're going to go over 1. The types of text we'll read in class, 2. Definition of rhetoric, 3. Rhetorical situation, 4. Aristotle's rhetorical triangle, 5. Jolliffe's rhetorical framework, and 6. The AP Lang rhetorical framework. The AP Language and Composition course focuses mostly on nonfiction texts, such as speeches, essays, letters, and visual texts such as political cartoons and graphs. The purpose of this course is for you to become a critical thinker by understanding how rhetorical strategies accomplish a writer's purpose. In the next couple of slides, we will focus on frameworks that will help you read, discuss, and write about rhetoric. According to Aristotle, a Greek philosopher and teacher, rhetoric is the faculty of finding in each case the existing means of persuasion. But what does he mean? He proposes that everything we read or listen to will always have elements of persuasion that help the writer or speaker achieve his or her purpose. Therefore, we must see everything as an argument, and not the kind that leads to dissent, but rather one that leads to effective conversation, including the rational exchange of opposing viewpoints. Every text has a rhetorical situation, and we must keep this in mind when we read. 1. The occasion. What is the time and place of a text? 2. The context. What is the historical context of this time? And 3. The purpose, the writer's goal. What does he or she want the audience to think, feel, or do? For example, if the text takes place in the 1930s, then we know women had less rights. We also know that we're going through a Great Depression, and we have Jim Crow laws. Then we must apply all that knowledge to the effect it has on audience and purpose to have a better understanding of the text as a whole. Aristotle's rhetorical triangle is a tool that tries to explain the relationship between 3 key elements in rhetoric. 1. The speaker or writer of a text. 2. The subject or topics being introduced and discussed. And 3. The audience for whom the text was written, which can be primary and secondary. Not included in the triangle, but it is part of Aristotle's idea, is 4. Persona, which is how the speaker presents himself or herself to the audience. An example of persona is former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, writing a letter to her son where she can present herself as a caring mother rather than as a political figure. Later in the chapter, we will go more in depth with the appeals, ethos, logos, and pathos, which are also part of the rhetorical triangle and one of the ways you will analyze text for this course. Jolliffe's rhetorical framework is not mentioned in your textbook. However, like Aristotle, Jolliffe tries to explain the relationship between key elements in rhetoric. 1. The rhetorical situation, exigence, audience, and purpose. Exigence is an issue, problem, or situation that causes someone to speak or write. 2. The appeals, ethos, logos, pathos. And 3. Structure and devices, such as modes of writing, diction, syntax, imagery, and figurative language. We will go more in depth with devices later in the chapter, as well as the modes of writing. Since exigence is a new term, let me give you an example. President Lincoln's exigence for the Gettysburg Address is the division of our country during the Civil War. AP Lang rhetorical framework begins with 1. Exigence, 2. Occasion and context, 3. The writer, 4. The audience, 5. The message, 6. Purpose, and 7. The rhetorical strategies, which are appeals, structure, and devices. This framework includes the rhetorical situation, Aristotle's rhetorical triangle, and Jolliffe's rhetorical framework. As critical thinkers, we must understand the interrelationships between these elements in order to see all the complexities and nuances of a text. All of this thinking makes up your line of reasoning, or just simply LOR, which is critical in showing your understanding of a text at a college level and for the AP exam in May.